what we have, potentially at least on paper, a bit of a discrepancy in expectations. NYYRIKKI changed out the top side of the map, a rough day one, Dusty on the other side. Yes, they've changed out the roster, but there's a lot of expectations on them. Our analysts seem to be preferring the draft the other way around.
Yeah, I mean, I just have to kind of agree with them. They got so many strong picks in the first. You got Delusion, got I mean, so many just power picks all around the board, which was not picked by Dusty on the blue side. So you were kind of figuring that they would have something up their sleeve, right? But then finishing it off with the Malphite pick into the Jinx, it's going to be so rough for the Voxes to navigate in these fights. And while I do think, as you mentioned, we kind of might have a hand diff in this game, NYYRIKKI definitely got the
Linkas is quite deep here, but is going to be able to walk their way out of slight dodge from NYYRIKKI's red side jungle. And of course, you've got a pretty strong mid-jungle duo there. You've got yourself the Viego, you've got yourself the LeBlanc. We know what those two can do when they get rolling, namely destroy people. M&S, hell, didn't even need to get rolling, just blew up Merbs from a bush in the mid lane and the game was over. What do you know? I exaggerate a little. And, you know, shout out to production as well, as you bring it back. That was a very intense intro to Summoner's Rift. I appreciate the camera work. It was very, you know, like, felt like I was really heading in a battle.
Cinematic.
I know, right?
I really appreciate that.
They're in the wrong line of work. I feel like there's a Pirates of the Caribbean movie that clearly needs their expertise. Alas, they are here, taking us around incredible tours of Summoner's Rift, and currently eyeing up this mid lane matchup, which we were discussing by ourselves. Could well be relatively pivotal. LeBlanc, Ari, very snowbally champs in a lot of ways, where once they get rolling, they can get out of mid lane. You've got two very proactive junglers who, once they both hit 6, can roam with those particular mid laners and make the side lanes pretty difficult.
Yeah, I mean, no, for sure, right? And we just saw that we actually been seeing this matchup popping off quite a lot now in the first days of the NLC. We see Backlund. I think this is the first time, at least this week, that I see the first strike on the LeBlanc.
Very true.
Compared to Electrocute. And it's just gonna be curious to see if it makes any sort of difference. Obviously, Backlund, maybe he didn't watch last game, but I mean, for sure he knows M&S. Just kind of godlike LeBlanc play. Let's see if Backlund can keep up and do similar things.
I want to pick your brain a little bit here as well. Because I kind of feel that first strike for the LeBlanc's going to be a little bit hard because you can't trade through the minions as well as Nari can, because you can just stand behind a minion, throw the Q out, and trade with both you and the minions at the same time. So I feel like I'm not sure how easy first strike even is to proc here in this matchup. Yeah,
no, I was gonna say the same, but hold my thought there, Linkas.
Yeah, we're all gonna flash out from the Spectral. More Flipper is around, but there won't be too much there. And maybe I'll pick NYYRIKKI's brains about that one later and see what he thinks about it. In fact, I hear he may have some words for it. In fact, look at this very non-Photoshop picture where he's asking, where is the Everfrost on Ari? I think I completely agree. That is a statement he would make. And there would be no Photoshop that we would ever have done to this picture.
No, that is for sure, right? 10 out of 10 picture, 10 out of 10 NYYRIKKI. The only thing I can say is I love the fact that he has so many post-it notes.
They are all League of Legends related as well.
That is.
They're all League of Legends. They are all the notes that get on the bottom of the screen when he's casting.
So actually, your point though about the first shot from Backlund, I think I would agree. Like, obviously, neither one of you or me are mid lane mains, so I'm gonna assume that Backlund, my Swedish fellow brother, he knows what he's doing. But if I was playing LeBlanc, I would for sure go for the Electrocute as well. But I mean, he's just gonna have to shut me up basically.
Yeah.
And show
Okay.
me
Well,
get a lot of gold on this first strike.
That is the way it is as it stands, and of course you can join in with crying for Everfrosts on Ari by hitting that hashtag NLC at home. I have no way misconstrued my brother's normal statements on Ari and his particular thoughts on Everfrost, which sometimes get exaggerated. Either way, he was no way calling for Medjay's, and I would never ask that to be changed.
So basically, what I see already is actually what Finn talked about before the game is Kerberos obviously not having mana on this champion, and he's able to stay in lane for pretty much how long he wants. Bandas cannot contest the wave and has actually already burned his TP.
Oh yeah.
Still 10 seconds down. Kerberos gonna still have pressure in this lane, and if that's also what Finn said, right? If they can snowball this Gnar and make sure that he's constantly like a sideline threat, it's gonna be hard for NYYRIKKI to just force 5-5 team fights whenever they want.
Does at least get Banderas that initial cloth arm, which does actually make a significant amount of difference. Your effective HP goes up so much higher the moment you get even just the one cloth armor. Yes, it costs you an unpreferable back, but it will hopefully allow you to stick in lane a little bit longer this time. But 2 of those corrupting potion charges already down again, and Flipper can be back towards the Krugs, but will be spotted out on a ward. And Kerberos absolutely curb stomped, all puns intended, on the Darius in game 1. We're back on Monday. Yes, he was set up for success with Nautilus and Darius Cage and all the rest of it, where you were brought into the zone where the site Darius can really put some hurt in, and that, of course, was what the delay was before, where Linkas disconnected. Fortunately, he has now reconnected, and we're able to continue with the game as stands.
Yeah, and by the looks of it, we're kind of having a chill one, this first 5 minutes at least. Not looking to do too much, I think, on the side of NYYRIKKI. You know, they want to get level 6 onto Flipper, Aero as well, Banderas, you know, get that ulti off. But looks like Linkas gonna go towards the top side, which is, of course, understandable. Now he's full cleared once again, so gonna go up here. Maybe the Croc's obviously not gonna be up because Flipper just cleared that, so not a mirroring from the side of the junglers, but yeah, looks like Kerberos wants to push this wave in. Not sure they can go for a dive, but Kerberos is level 6.
Could think about it, be a little bit bold. He's going to hop forward and look to get a Mega Gnar at least. It's a fairly decent chunk. Lands the wall up as well. Linkas is left, but now Bander is so very low. There is a flash on Linkas. He could look for this flash. Tries to Barret the Spectral Aura and makes it work. He baits it all. He gets the kill. He steals Malphite's body. And the new jungler for Dusty coming over from the Prime League proves why his hands have been so praised by analysts before he hit the Rift this split.
Oof. Really impressive stuff, obviously. I mean, Kerberos getting level 6, a bit disrespectful coming in from Banderas. Kerberos obviously knows he can fight this. Even if Wukong and Flipper, if he was going to be on the top side, they would still win out on the 2v2. So Kerberos just says, hey, screw it, I'm just going to go in. Banderas forces, actually Linkas, as he mentioned, force the flash onto Malphite before he goes in, and it just looks like such an easy pickup. And the bad fact about this as well is Banderas already blew his TP, so going to be super far down in this matchup already.
And it is one of those weird matchups where if you can hold on early, you can get to the point where Gnar just realistically doesn't do as much damage as he would like into you. It's a similar problem with something like adjacent to a Malphite, where you kind of hit that point and say, I need 3 items before I can hurt you again now. That's not going to be the case at this point. You've already got a significant CS lead. You've got to that point where you are fairly ahead in this one and will likely remain that way for a fairly large part of this game, if not just permanently.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. We talked about before the game as well, when we just saw the drafts. Dusty, they can have a lot of options. They have to play through mid, obviously, but then they can kind of choose if they want to go to the bot side or top. Right now, they kind of told the Vox and Stan to, guys, just chill, just try to farm as much as possible, get 5-6 years behind, you're going to be completely fine. On the other side, onto NYYRIKKI, I do feel like they kind of have to snowball this Lucian pick that they have. Also, the Ahri pick, obviously, going to be super safe in the mid, but really this bot matchup, if the Vox can keep this farm being quite even, as Finn said, he's just gonna try to super outscale him, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, this is not an easy game for Jinx.
No,
he said it's not the best game for Lucian. It's a very rough game for Jinx because you've got a Nautilus, an Ahri, a Wukong, and of course, a Malphite jumping onto a Jinx, which can't very easily run Gale Force this game.
Yeah, no.
Not into multiple armor stackers, etc., etc. You really do want that Kraken Slayer, and that means that Voxne is going to be put into the bounce house every time R is available for NYYRIKKI.
Yeah, it's going to be really important for NYYRIKKI to really time his flash this game to make sure that when they want to fight, they make sure that Jinx does not have the flash, or if at least they know if it's up or not. So Banderas can just hit that ultimate for free. Now though, NYYRIKKI looking to do something proactive on this top side, maybe start off the Herald, but Stand is also here, so could be some sort of fight. We see Acetor also moving away after pushing that bot wave.
Stand does manage to battle dance away from Abagnale. Of course, Abagnale, arguably our most prolific Rakan player in the league, had that pick stolen away from him for today. Didn't really have the best showing of it, unfortunately, for him on the Monday. But Sten feeling, at least right now, okay on the pick. We haven't seen too much action out of the bot lanes as yet. Of course, now we're heading towards Herald spawns. Might be time for that action to kick on, but both AD carries have decided they want to contest for that bot side, so it'll be a 4v4 towards this Herald as it stands.
Yeah, and now Flipper, I mean, he does have the level 6 onto the Wukong, but I just feel like maybe Abigail can actually get 6 off of this mid wave. That would be huge for the fight.
Well, we're not quite there. It's something I know NYYRIKKI's coach has talked about, is trying to funnel that experience over towards your supporters. That was a failed distortion across the wall. Forces that ultimate out instead. Banderas gets the knock up onto Linkas. Not so low. Tries to get the reset. It's a kill over. And Linkas is alive. Gets a reset, but he's now turned back around. That was, of course, Linkas falling, not the Malphite. On the other side, Aero picks up another. It's a 2-for-2 right now. Top laner and support for the side of NYYRIKKI, support and jungle on the side of Dusty, but that means there is a smite advantage to NYYRIKKI right now. Yeah.
A bit of the synergy off there from NYYRIKKI, Abigail trying to hit his hook before, and then Banderas kind of ulting at the same time. Generally would kind of want to chain those CCs. Actually, the Herald resetting is kind of unfortunate for Dusty, and also Backlund kind of whiffing his W there, which is not something I want to see, but I mean, they do get Linkas in the end, but just him getting that reset and just buying a bit of time for his team is just so huge for this fight.
Oh, And you could see if they managed to burst out the Vega, all was well. Couldn't quite make it happen. Honestly, the moment I saw that Mimic distortion come through, I was like, oh no. But we are back to the scene of the crime. 3-2 is the kill score right now. Banderas is around, but he's not got the unstoppable force to his name, and I think that means that Dusty, despite kind of having a bit of a screw up around it the first time, will still be able to secure the Herald and have it in the pockets of their jungler.
And I mean, really intelligent player from the Vox, I think, unless he's going to get cancelled. He actually managed to get the wave in before NYYRIKKI has time to go for the cross map.
Why
so he's just going to be losing out on one wave max here, and it might be able to even farm the Krugs. I do like the response from NYYRIKKI though. They get some vision onto the bot side, but nothing too crazy in terms of trade for that Herald that now Dusty has in their command.
I appreciate as well he decides, look, I'm just going to start the small Krug just in case they're waiting for me. And rightly so, there is a ward in that Krug pit and a control ward just behind the red buff there as well. A pretty difficult ward to spot as well because you don't path through it necessarily that naturally as a jungler or even as a support. But Flippers around, still looking to contest one as there's a single small Krug remaining in the pit. I believe Denvox managed to pick up the rest of them and now Withstand around and level 6 to his name. Makes this a little bit more of an awkward proposition to die, but now Abagnale is here with the Hex Flash and nearly 3 plates being traded out towards his bot side, which is more than the expected value of a Herald.
Yeah, no, for sure. I was really surprised they were able to get that much, but I assumed, I saw Linkas. I'm not sure that was a mistake on his behalf or not, but after the Herald, he cleared some camps, then he went back to the top side. Could have been some sort of communication issue there from Dusty, because if I am the Voxnay in that play, I'm just telling my jungler, come bot as soon as you can so I can farm, and then you can do whatever you want with the Herald, but I need to be able to farm this. As you mentioned, he managed to get some Krugs. Now NYYRIKKI is going to get the Drake.
Call it out as well, though. Kerberos does have 3 plates on that top side, so at least that pressure top has allowed this Gnar to continue being a force in the side lane. Has now got to that Trinity Force very early on, continuing to weigh down on the early deaths of Banderas and the early mistakes in lane. That Gnar is going to be problematic, especially when he does the mix damage with the hyper procs, and if you can get a little bit more of that percent HP damage from a couple more items, I think we could see another split push Gnar build game this time around, M-Test.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. This is just kind of what Finn talked about as well, right? If you can start the process of snowballing this Gnar, it's just going to be super hard to stop. Now Kerberos actually getting the tower without even using the Herald.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what Linkas thought. He just went to the top side.
But it's expected value. You just get a whole tower yourself. That works.
It was a good investment for sure. So Linkas, you know, I take my word back. It was good of you to just ignore your bot side, go completely for the top side.
Look, all I'm saying is, you know, what's the business Dr. Mundo? Business Dr. Mundo skin? Okay, is that what it's called? You know what I mean? Can I get one for Gnar? I think that'd be quite entertaining. You know, just know there like
stonks.
Yeah, investment bank, Gnar. Investing in top lane plates, doing very well up there.
I would pay for that, even though I don't even play top lane. Whenever I get filled top, I will speak Gnar.
Look, you've just been using today to scrub up on your top lane knowledge, courtesy of LEC top laner Finn. See, this is all the cunning plan. Yeah,
that is. I'm just going to be a full-fledged top laner from here on. And if they don't do the Gnar skin, then I'm going to be super disappointed.
Well, don't blame me. I've thrown it out there. I have shown Riot the way. They just need to follow my wisdom. Or we are waiting for Aero and Abagnale, who are waiting in the wings to see whether there was a pick available. Remember, Linkas has got this Herald inventory, but it's only got a quarter of its time left. 30 seconds till those plates. Well, I just don't think he's going to be able to get it off, honestly. There's not very easy locations. I think this Herald might end up being wasted, and that is a very unfortunate point. Needs to drop this soon, or they're just going to get no value out of the Herald at all, really, in terms of those plates.
Yeah,
he's going to get dropped mid, but there's 4 members here.
It's going to be 5 as well, and Aster moves from the top side. I guess this Herald could be some sort of decoy, but if I care was still just being an absolute menace.
He's going to get a top lane tower, in fairness, potentially. Okay, well, he's going to get a chunk. I don't know whether he'll get the whole thing, especially with Mega coming up. Not the same attack speed to his name with that one, so I feel that is a bit of a wasted objective there. And Azator will take a chunk, but has got a relentless pursuit to dash away before any more damage comes their way. And Linkas not really finding a very good opportunity there at all. Yeah,
no, I mean, I agree completely, right? I mean, Kerberos getting the top tower without even using the Herald means that Linkas has so much time to make sure that another play with Aster with flash.
Oh, look for that. That was a nice little attempt, but Azator quick on the flash trigger finger. There we go, got that the right way around.
Little tongue twister.
A little bit, surprisingly so. Does get out safely though, but the summoner is burnt.
Yeah, that is fine, right? Stan still having his flash up, so once his ultimate comes back up, it's going to be a lot easier for him to catch up Asator, but I mean, you already see Kerberos already 2 levels up, even though without even the Herald being used. I'm pretty sure what Kerberos said is, I could see a scenario where Lucas wanted to put the Herald instantly on the top side, but Kerberos just wants to keep denying Banderas as much as possible. That's why you don't want to put Herald too early, and you see now, 50 CS up. 50 minutes into the game, it's huge.
And we saw what Kerberos could do with an advantage the other day. This is the guy who's come back into the league, who before M&S was the solo kill leader in the NLC, was the guy who got the initial pentakill in the NLC, who is now up an unfeasible 2,500 gold individually here at the 15-minute mark. It's very rare you see that kind of individual discrepancy between laners. But this Gnar is well and truly off to the races.
Yeah, and I mean, Banderas now has the Frozen Gnar completed, right? But I just have to put it out there. Feels like it is a little bit too late now. Kerberos has to try for it. Gonna be just keep going to the top side, and that's the thing with this NYYRIKKI lineup, is that they just want to be as 5 as much as possible.
Oh, it's so sad. I was about to say what it's not too late for. Here's telling us how you watch the NLC at home. But we've got to talk about this team fight first. Abagnale is just deleted. Linkas gets that one. Shout out to card captain Karen as well, who has got that beautiful banner on the wall. Just as we saw a beautiful kill there, beautiful pick on Abagnale, just a little overextended there in the mid lane. Do continue to send in those tweets at the hashtag NLC at home.
Yeah.
Got ourselves 30 seconds till the track. I've been enjoying those tweets.
I'm just keep getting. I'm not surprised. Like maybe it's just my setup at home. Maybe it's not as beautiful as this. Maybe that's why I'm being surprised.
Your beauty is in person.
Oh, okay.
You don't need the setup when you're there. So.
That's for sure not something that would have been said on Monday's broadcast. Let me.
I know, but like, I'm trying to be kind here. I'm trying to give you a nice.
I really appreciate it, man. I respect it.
Oh, we're gonna see a pick in the mid lane now. Enough praising my color cast as Flipper finds the Cyclone, gets a kill on the backline. Now Stend is in trouble. What a needed turnaround for NYYRIKKI. They can't quite secure the second. Now Aero is very deep, and Linkas could look to punish. Does look for the Spectral Maul, can't quite make it work. The turnaround from Abagnale, forced to flash out from Linkas, who then has to Heartbreaker away after the use of the flash. Kerberos nearly at Mega Gnar, and Banderas roams down as well. But NYYRIKKI find a pick, but not too much more.
And while it is happening, right, Banderas keep losing top ways, but he has no choice but to group with his team. They managed now NYYRIKKI to get solo point.
That's very true.
This is just some win condition that if they didn't have this, it would be such a disaster for this game. Now, Dusty, who wants to keep playing this split push comp with the Gnar, are kind of forced to contest this next Mountain Drake. And if they don't, Banderas, despite being so behind, is gonna get super tanky.
On Odyssey 1, you got the kill onto backline, you force Stend away, you force his flash out, Linkas has to flash and ult away on low HP. What should have been a fairly contestable dragon turned immediately uncontestable so quickly. And you're right, they are now at soul point, and what felt like a game that was becoming pretty untenable, because who the hell was going to deal with this Gnar? Well, drag him into a team fight, drag him away from that split push build identity he's been going for, and punish them there. Of course, it's not done yet. They are still up a hefty amount of gold. They have now got this top lane tier 2, and they have got themselves a second Herald. But the win condition is there for NYYRIKKI if they can make it stick.
Yeah, no, for sure. We're just gonna have to wait these next 4 minutes and see if NYYRIKKI can contain the soul. I wouldn't be surprised.
Two in the middle. Two Heralds in the middle that have made absolutely nothing work. They've got to have a look and review those, because those have not worked. Abagnale, though, now being potentially called out, but it's going to be a turnaround. Flash over the wall and they get Linkas. Now he is dead, and suddenly the jungler, who was looking to get a bit of a snowball rolling, is getting punished consistently. That's now 2 picks in a row, alongside a second failed Herald. NYYRIKKI, this is looking playable.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw them on the Monday, right? They were just kind of losing almost every lane. I feel like today they are drafting super well. I mean, they got so many power picks, right? And the fact that now they're able to find something with this composition that wants to keep P kind of permanently grouped, honestly, with this Malphite, finds Linkas twice now, and that's going to slow down the momentum a bit from Dusty.
Also worth shouting out Aero here as well, because we were all very critical of him on Monday. He had a rough game. Died a lot of times in lane, solo killed, trying to stop a back from Senkux, and then from there ends up something like 0-5. It was not a very pleasant Veigar game. I think called him a Viego, like similar initial syllables there. Anyway, the point still stands that today we are seeing a much improved performance. This Ahri has been proactive. It helped find that pick in the mid lane that really kind of stalled the snowball that was coming out of Dusty, and it's made this mid game increasingly playable. We've got 2.5 minutes until this dragon. If they can continue to make sure that Kerberos isn't getting even further ahead, they could look to make this dragon a real nightmare for Dusty.
That's a fact. That is a complete fact. There also one other fact.
I'm glad I wasn't just lying to you all. Does happen occasionally, I suppose.
Kerberos, the bad thing about being so far ahead is now he has 2 towers. He already took the second tower top, right? It's kind of hard.
From success, the DJ Khaled project. They're just Photoshop Nar or Kerberos in there. I've done everything I can. There's nothing more to do. What do? I've got everything I could ever want.
The problem is, I'm pretty sure he's not going to be able to secure it.
Azzator does try. No, that's not the best culling I've ever seen, but just get out of danger. Some quick trigger fingers. Even a few of those finger presses were suboptimal. Gonna burn that flash. The culling will likely be up in time for the dragon, but that summoner spell being down means he's definitely punishable. Kerberos wrapping around. Azzator needs to try and play this one out. They get one, but a massive Mega Gnar into the wall. Is there enough follow-up? Those arrows has gone golden, has got the Spirit Rush to try and get out. It's actually a 1-for-1 right now, and NYYRIKKI prevent that wraparound from being as nightmarish as it looked like when Kerberos found that wonderful Mega Gnar.
Yeah, really huge there from Kerberos, obviously, but now the thing is, are they going to be able to get something out of this? They use the Gnar Flash, not going to be up for the Drake. Same for Abigail, I mean, same for Azzator as well. They actually use so many summoners here, but Pantera's ultimate is still going to be up for the Drake fight, which is going to be huge for NYYRIKKI.
But you have now got Nari down the flash. You've got the Lucian down the flash. Abigail down the flash. Those are now potential targets. You've still got flashes on most of your major members. The only one down that flash is Kerberos, which is a bit frustrating, of course, when he's your Fed member and he needs to look for that flash Nara, unless it's a really good flank. Need to see how they can make it work. NYYRIKKI down a few key summoners, as we have now highlighted, especially as this dragon 45 seconds away from spawning. M-Test. Who am I looking at? What items should I be aware of? As maybe we don't even have time for that. They're looking to fight well before that dragon comes through. Abignale taken very, very low. Aero gonna try and get something out, and Linkas is gone. He goes too deep. Stead's gonna try to turn around his curve. Somehow, even without the flash, finds the Mega Gnar that might still win them the fight anyway. And then Voxday, who the damn well cares whether you could be dived on when you can get a triple kill like that? It's MSI all over again. It's Danny all over again. You do nothing early on, and then suddenly, bam, team fights occur.
I'm convinced from now on that Linkas is just a decoy from Dusty. There's so much on Timmy. Sure, he still has his flash.
Who comes on the other side? That's where the decoy is.
But Kerberos once again, even without the flash, getting so many targets hit by his ultimate, and then it's just kind of clean up from their stand, having his flash up. Then Voxen still having his flash up as well. He's managing to clean house after that, and they managed to secure that Drake, which is super crucial. Let's have a look at this replay.
I tried to do my best to set you up to tell me what was going to happen in the dragon fight, and we were rudely interrupted as Backlund found a big chunk, and then the fight commenced. And honestly, once Linkas went down, I thought it was going to be wonderful until that Mega Gnar comes through.
And I mean, I just have to ask both NYYRIKKI and myself, is ulting Linkas solo as Malphite gonna be worth it? Because once the Malphite ulti is down, it gives the Voxen so much more space to work around. And I mean, he doesn't have to be scared at all after that fact. And he is able to clean up. I have to shout out as well. Whenever you're able to build Runans onto Jinx, when you're playing against so many melee champions, you just get so much dopamine, honestly. When you ever hit
I can see that a little bit there. There's a very happy smile on your face. A little alarming, actually, but there you go. AD carry mains are a rare and unusual breed. Still, that is a soul now delayed. It is a big fight there for the side of Dusty, but honestly, I see the angle for that one-man Malphite ult because you got rid of the smite and you still had the Cypher, you still had the Spirit Rush. It should have been playable. It really could have been. Yes, it's harder to get to the Jinx, but you've still got some options. And then Kerberos comes and says no, and like full on, like that is like, you know, those you know, the American sitcoms where you got like the bullies that behind the high school throwing you against the wall. And like, basically the guy who's like 2 years ahead of you in school just like throwing you into the lockers.
Legit, Kerberos being such a bully in this game. It's a bit mean, honestly. But, I mean,
it's so gentle. It's a bit mean.
It's just.
I expect a lot of other people in solo queue would be significantly less. Eloquent, shall we say?
If you were not on broadcast, it was...
yes, of course. Alas, we are. I'll allow the viewers at home to fill in their own particular expletives. Move on from there. Kerberos nearly at Mega Gnar, and Aero actually down 2 levels. Kerb continuing to be the highest level member in the game, and a right nightmare to deal with in team fights and side lanes both.
Yeah, I actually want to shout out that as well. I feel like NYYRIKKI obviously being the first to pull the trigger in so many of these fights, but Kerberos has been able to get Mega Gnar in every single fight, like just the perfect timing, pretty much. And I'm not sure if that's a mistake on NYYRIKKI's fault, not keeping track of the Narbar, but still, I mean, Kerberos once again kind of showing why he's so feared against in the NLC.
Living up to his namesake, he's got 3 items for the 3 heads of Cerberus. Anathema's change in third. Yeah, I had that reference ready. I'm sorry about that. Still, that is a big deal. And honestly, I don't know who the Anathema's chain is locked onto, but that, considering the import of those flanks, if you are stunning up someone like Aero or Azator for even that little bit longer, huge deal for making sure these fights go Dusty's way.
Yeah, I mean, no, for sure, right? I would assume that the Anathemas goes onto the likes of Ari, just pretty much the only AP damage.
Champion, yeah.
Yeah, and that as well. And actually, every time I look on the minimap, I mean, it's kind of understandable, but every single time Dusty has the side lanes kind of pushed in, forcing NYYRIKKI to permanently go to the side and catch those waves. And that means Dusty has obviously just full control of the map, right? It's gonna be 2 minutes to the Drake. Doesn't look like any team wants to play from to the Nash until then. So might see a banger of a fight in another 90
I would
seconds.
agree if it wasn't for the fact that NYYRIKKI have no way to get into the Dragon Pit to find a fight right now, because all of their waves are shoved in, their jungle is not theirs. Aero's had to pop the ultimate trying to look for a pick, but now he's in a 1v2. It'll be a 2v2 now with Abagnale telling up, but Backland is kind of lurking in the jungle. We've seen what LeBlanc's in that kind of part of the world can do just a game ago. Dusty continue to just take command of the map, even if the gold's not that much of a difference, even if there is a soul available for NYYRIKKI to claim. I just don't know how easy it is to find their way through the deep and dark map that is in front of them. It is an absolute minefield to navigate.
Yeah, it's basically like a basement.
Look at that, it is utterly dark.
Oh
Nocturne's in the game, but it sure feels like him.
Yeah, it's just rough from here. It's for sure an uphill battle from NYYRIKKI. They kind of have to hope that someone, maybe Linkas, makes a mistake once again and gets caught. That's kind of what they have to hope for. Is this going to be a cancel as well? I mean, this is just kind of a good tempo play, right? I mean, now not going to be able to base, not going to be able to refill his wards. And this is just what the Vox now. I haven't been able to see any snipes with the ulti this game, but
to the tier 2 bot side as well. He's just not giving in. He's still super pushing. Who needs to go for dragons when you could just be an absolute menace? I don't know what NYYRIKKI do right now.
They just
hope for Linkas, as you said, I suppose.
Yeah, or I mean, maybe someone else, but I feel like they're just so slippery. Right? Backland on this LeBlanc, been kind of not the MNS show, I would say, but I mean, it's kind of hard when you have Kerberos in your team, right? I'm just looking at the scoreboard now as well.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Right?
Looking for something, can't quite make it work. Gonna start running away as Kerb, nearly at the Mega Gnar, and NYYRIKKI are really struggling here because they've yet to get a tower this game. No towers claimed. 5 for Dusty right now.
It's rough, right? And now, I mean, NYYRIKKI obviously wanted to contest that Drake. They want to get that soul, but in this case like this, you have bounties as well on the side of yours, and you just have to kind of not flip Nash. That's not what I was going to say, but they're going to do it.
Their jungler's called Flipper. It seems oh so apt. Backland over the wall, and you despair might be well and truly problems. I'm going to return it though. That is dead. Vox, they dead. The prophecy comes true. They get one, but can they get more? Flipper is down now. That means the smite is dead, and Linkas can maybe look to make this one more difficult. Charm lands, but a Spectral Maw away buys some space for the Viego, and yes, they get Den Voxne, but they cannot keep their jungler alive. And that means the Baron is just off the table.
Yeah, just looked at the perfect fight for NYYRIKKI. They just instantly get the Vox, not even able to use his flash. In the end, they used the flash from Flipper, from Banders as well, from Abagnale. I mean, such a good setup, right? Abagnale actually dodging the vision here and able to catch out the Voxne. Super good engage. But, I mean, Kerberos still full HP, Backland still full HP. They have so many threats on the side of Dusty, and it's not enough to take Dusty down.
The Flame Chompers came down. They just didn't arm in time. And then from here, honestly, I thought it was going to be a really big win for NYYRIKKI, but they couldn't make a stick. And Abagnale, oh my god, he's gone. LeBlancs today, I'm afraid, have been putting on a pretty graphic performance. Yeah. Health bars disappear in the blink of an eye.
Also, Nautilus has been kind of notoriously known today for just face shaking kind of alone and getting one-tapped by these LeBlancs. I mean, it's hard.
But this is what happens when Nautilus gets behind them, because what you do is go in.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, once you're in, there's not a huge amount of ways out.
That is true for sure. And once again, I mean, Initialize stating so many facts today on the show. Now Dusty can be able to start up this Nash. Looks like it's just going to be free. I mean, Flipper is going to spot side to clear.
Baron's gone. They've got a tower, but They just don't feel they can contest. The Baron, the map being as dark as it is, continues to be a thorn in the side of NYYRIKKI.
Yeah.
Finally, they've got a tower on the ball, but it's near enough. 10,000 gold behind that, 500 gold off that.
I'm not sure who is in charge of the momentum meter here, but if you hear me right now, it should be completely blue on the Dusty side. Not a lot of momentum going on.
Look, I don't really want to set up an argument between my analysts and my color caster, but if we can set up a steel cage match, I'm down. I'll do some WWE casting. Let's make it happen. Fighting over the momentum meter. This is how backroom feuds begin. I love it. I kid slightly. What you don't understand is M-Test off camera is a vicious man. Yes, truly a ruthless competitor and color commentator. He's got the killer instinct of a pro player, and he's ready to throw down with Finn. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it as well, man. I just can't wait to...
You're buying into this. I'm really happy you are. Thank you for that.
I mean, obviously, right? I'm super surprised to see, actually...
Oh, Vox Day is like, I do not want to be here as Aero. I'm hunting to see if there's anything more.
Aero trying to flank. It's a good effort. Not enough, though. I was kind of sad now to see, since Dusty kind of group for the Nash, allowed Banderas to get some CS back, but I was actually looking forward to a Flame Horizon from Kerberos, but maybe not going to get it this time around in this game. It was close.
Looked for it, couldn't quite make it. An old school Season 2 top lane gap. Flame, of course, now a streamer for T1. Actually, he's back in Korea. He's streaming for the old org that many once upon a time would have loved to see replace someone like Impact back in Season 4. Of course, never really happened, and Huni did the same in Season 5, but he is still streaming, and the man, myth, and namesake of the old 100 CS gap in your lane.
Yep.
The way Azator popping the culling here. Can't quite make that much stick, and it is just 2 lanes being shoved, 2 lanes with the towers around the inhibitors falling, and 2 lanes that NYYRIKKI can do nothing to defend.
Yeah, it's looking rough, honestly. NYYRIKKI has to find some sort of miracle engage there, but it's so hard onto the side of Dust. It has so much mobility. Vox has flash as well. It's doing so much damage.
And will hop forward alongside Stend. And that's a big chunk onto the Nautilus, who won't die for a 6th time this game. Not quite yet, but now it's the Nexus under siege. And NYYRIKKI, what have you got? You have to try something now. It has been so little, that has been so late. They get a knock-up, but there's a stopwatch, and they don't have the damage. The Cyclone looks more like a strong gust of breeze. They get the Mega Gnar back, courtesy of Kerberos. Banderas falls as well. Another triple kill to none other than Vox Day, and Dusty, in emphatic fashion, will find themselves a 2-0 week here in the NLC.
Super well played from Dusty all around the board. They just knew that they could just play for Kerberos on this top side Gnar. Make sure that Banderas can never quite